Alright, how you guys doing? Sorry for the mess in the truck right now. Currently getting ready for home time. I'll be home tomorrow. They're preloading my trailer right now so I can pick it up after my 10-hour break and go ahead and get started towards the house. Sorry for all the live videos, by the way. I completely ran out of space on my phone to actually save them on there and then do it, so I got to go live with this stuff now. Anyway, this video is not a bashing video. Just gonna put that out there. It's probably might be a little bit lengthy, but it's some stuff people need to hear because I don't think people out there get it just yet. Yeah. So I was packing up some stuff, leaving my phone on just random play on YouTube, and somebody came up and was talking about ROEHL. Now, keep in mind, this guy's video was several years old because I actually made it like 2 years before I even started driving for ROEHL. So I heard this video forever ago, didn't really think about it, but you know, here we are sometime later. I'm actually listening to it again, just on random, wasn't even trying to look it up, just happened to pop up. And I'm listening to what he's saying, and he's bashing the company hardcore. So, you know, I stopped packing my stuff and I sit down and listen to what he's got to say. So maybe he's got some legitimate concerns and gripes and whatnot. And, you know, I'm giving him the time of day. Listen to what listening with the open mind as to what this man is saying is are some of the issues he had with ROEHL. And I'm like, all right. Never had any of those issues, not once. And then I started reading some of the comments. I started seeing people saying, yeah, I had some of the same experiences, that and the third, and blah, blah, blah. And one guy's like, yeah, I had one really good week where I was running 3,000 miles, and the next week was like 1,500 miles. And I'm like, all right. Just listening, I'm just like, it's some craziness. So if y'all have come across the guy's YouTube name, I'm not calling him out or anything. I'm not doing that. This guy is probably actually has been driving longer than I have, and I'm not trying to bash anybody. But of course, somebody is going to come across this video, not really think about the fact that it's several years old. So I'm going to make a more current video. All right, the guy's YouTube name is ROEHL. That's just the name. No way, shape, or form calling anybody out. It's just simply the gentleman who made the video. So y'all will know that whenever you come across the video, and you're like, hey, Raymond talked about it. All right. So I sat and made a list of notes from things he talked about in his video and some of the things that I read in some of the comments. And I'm also going to throw in my 2 cents on some of these. This is no particular order because I was kind of just jumping around, writing some stuff down. Okay. Somebody dropped a comment on ROEHL and going to Canada. Yes, ROEHL goes to Canada. They do. I'm Canada eligible. All you gotta do is have a passport to go. Have I gone to Canada? No. And why I haven't gone, I don't know. I do know that it is, you know, a pain to go into another country and to come out of another country. Once you go to the country, you have to. What's going on, Mr. James? Oh, from Maine. Yeah, I've been to Maine. I've gone to Maine plenty of times. I'm up there. Yeah. It's a pain to go into another country, and it's a pain to come out of another country. All right, it's a whole rigmarole. You go through the border. All right, then sometimes actually they'll stop, pop the seal you have on your load. Greetings from Marshfield, Andrew J. Good times. Oh man, good old Marshfield. So yeah. They'll have to break the seal. Then you're going to have them go through your stuff. They're going to go through your stuff to make sure you're not smuggling stuff in. If you talk to the few drivers that I've talked to that actually have gone to Canada, they have talked about how it is hell to get in there. It is hell to get out of. So yeah, I'm Canada eligible, but if I get a load to go there, I guess I'm going to have to experience it firsthand. But I've heard horror stories about going to Canada. So it's one of those, yeah, it's cool for the experience, but I'm not sure it's something you're going to want to keep on doing. So yeah, that's kind of a quick one to cover, all right? He also talked about, this is also a quick little rant that I'm going to say. He also talked about how he got a load that had him at 80,250 pounds. And then after that, he had to drive 20 some miles, get it scaled. That's when he realized that it was overweight. I think I comprehended that properly. He realized it was overweight. And then after that, he told dispatch, and then dispatch told him, like, no, you're not authorized to drive 20 miles back. Run it as is. Okay, now he got pulled into a scale house, got hit with the level 2, caught the citation for being overweight and whatever else came with it. All right, I got several things to say about that. All right, just like any other field in this world, any other career, I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're law enforcement, firefighter, pilot. I don't care if you're a stripper. I don't care what your career is. You have the good ones that make it through, and you have the few rotten apples that make it through. And it's just like that in any company. I don't care who you drive for. ROEHL, Swift, Knight, CR England, Continental Express, Melton. I don't care who the fuck it is. You're going to have the bad ones that slip through the cracks. No company is perfect. No establishment is perfect. In a utopian society, which does not exist, that's where everything is perfect. But there's no such thing as perfection. You're going to have one slip through the cracks. All right? I'll give an example of what I had. I picked up one time in Wisconsin and had to run it down to Texas. And I picked up the load, had to drive it about 20 some miles to get to a scaled it at the pilot. And when I got to the pilot, I was at 81,000 pounds. I sent them a message saying, hey, look, this is what's going on. Keep in mind, this is not my actual fleet manager that did this. This was a weekend one and a nighttime one at that. So, and he said, per management, my boss run the load is negative. I'm not going to run it. I said, no, I'm not running the load as is. I sent him a message on the computer. I said, are you telling me to run this load as is and ROEHL is going to pick up the citation? And he said, yes, ROEHL will pick up the citation if you get hit with the overweight ticket. And I said, all right. No, I did not do that. I told him, I said, thank you for that. I'm still going to go back and get the load reworked. I went back to the place, and long story short, I was there for about another 7-8 hours getting them to rework the load, because the guy on the dock didn't understand that if you're at 81,000 pounds, there is no way you can rework the trailer to make your tandems legal. It's not going to happen. You have to take off weight off that trailer. So that's what ended up happening at the end of all that. Management came in, the nighttime management came in, took off 2 pallets, got me down to like 78.5, just my tandems. I was ready to rock and roll. All right, you are sorry about that. I got a message on Facebook. You are responsible for your own career. It does not matter what somebody else does. Out here, sometimes they'll give you fuel routings that you'll be pulling 45,600 pounds, that you're down to half a tank of fuel, and they're telling you your next fuel plan is 700 miles away. Common sense, well, after you've been driving, you'll know that at half a tank at 45,600 pounds, you're not making 700 miles. All right? I don't care how good of a fuel mileage guru you are. You ain't making 700 miles. Sometimes they'll give you a fuel routing that says that. It is up to you to take care of your career and apply a little bit of common sense. If you know that you're not going to make that, don't drive the truck and run out of fuel on the side of the road and say, oh, I ran out of fuel because of fuel. No, you stop at somewhere, you send the company a message 16 or a message 18 and say, hey, look, I need to get fuel. You pump on however many gallons they authorize you to pump on and make it fuel stop. You don't just run the motherfucker out of fuel and just leave it on the side of the road and say, I don't know where I went wrong. Use a little bit of common sense. If you have a load that puts you overweight, then somebody saying, no, just run it as it is your career. You take care of your career. And you turn around and drive that thing back to the place and say, look, this load is overweight. Either take some pallet off or I'm not driving it. It's that simple. Person told me, hey, run it as is. Common sense told me, I'm not going to go run this load the way it is. Now, to finish that story, I legit made it from Wisconsin all the way down to Texas without hitting one way station, except once I got into Texas and I was 75 miles away from actually getting to the place where I delivered. I actually hit a way station then. and actually had to go in and weigh. So yes, I ended up getting weighed way at the end of the trip. That does not excuse the fact that I listened out of ran an entire 1,200-mile trip illegal. You don't do that. You use a little bit of common sense, and you take care of your career. So that was on him. That's extremely stupid to pick up a load, know it is overweight, and still run it just because somebody who's in the desk hundreds of miles away from you tells you to do it. Some of these people ain't never driven a truck a day in their life. Don't go jeopardizing your career because somebody you don't even know, who probably can't even spell truck, tells you to do it. Don't fucking do that. That's stupid, all right? So I'm going to X that one out. I went on about for 8 minutes, and I was outraged when he said that. I said, that's a true stupid move. That's not even a rookie move. That's just you being stupid. At some point, it should have hit you to say, this is my career. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But hey, whatever. Different strokes for different folks, all right? Second thing, forced dispatch. You're going to get loads. Some you're going to be happy with. Some you aren't going to be happy with. It is what it is. Yes, they send you the loads. You don't really have a choice in it. But at the same time, nobody makes you accept these pre-plans. I've had pre-plans that they've given me that I have said, I can't do this because A, I'm going home. This is complete in the opposite direction. I just did that the other day. I'm going on home time soon, tomorrow. They tried to send me a load from, yesterday. What's that, Thursday? This was yesterday. Tuesday night. They tried to send me a load that says pick up Wednesday, take it over to Illinois for a Thursday delivery. And they said, I said, that I'm not doing that. Well, why not? Because I'm supposed to be going home on Friday. We get loads out of Illinois all the time that go to Georgia. True. And then, there it goes, connection came back. Then I'll do it. However, if I don't have something guaranteed, I'm not running it. What do they end up doing? Canceling the load, found me something to get me back down here. Hence the reason I'm in South Carolina today, about to drop this load tomorrow morning and head to the house from there. See how simple that was? They sent it to you. You have a valid reason for not wanting to go there, then you give it to them, and it's all going to be okay. What's not a valid reason? Oh, I don't want it, which is what they go up to the Northeast. I don't want to run in New York. Shut the fuck up. You're a truck driver. It is what it is. There are going to be times where you don't want to go to certain places. So now you're not getting good miles, but also you're complaining about what you're getting. Just take the loads. If you become that problem driver that's always turned down loads because you don't want to go here because it's New York, I don't want to do it. If you're the problem driver, I don't want to do it here because it's too far out west and it's hot. Shut up. Of course you're going to get shit loads because you're killing all the possibilities of the places you can go. So just shut up, take your load. You're an OTR driver, suck it up. Get some experience under your belt and handle it. All right? So I'm going to scratch that one off the list. Another one, fleet manager relationships. This kind of goes hand in hand with what I just talked about. He complained he never saw his fleet manager. Did you ask to go see him? Yes, granted, you walk into the building there, but there you have to get somebody from within the office to open the keypad lock and allow you to walk in. Yes, got it. I see my fleet manager literally every single time I go through Conley. I see my training fleet manager who's not my fleet manager anymore. And I also see my actual current fleet manager, who obviously is still my fleet manager. I see them both every time I go through Conley. Sometimes I'll buy them lunch because, hey, I'm headed through. Is your lunch break coming up? Buy them lunch. There have been times that I pass through and they have lunch for me. Not that hard. So for somebody to sit here and say they don't see their fleet manager, that sounds like personal something. Because I legit see mine every single time I go through Conley. And it is what it is. It's easy. I just ask, hey, you're in the office? Yup. All right, cool. Hey, you busy? No, come on in. Said, no problem. If I got time, I pass through, walk inside, spend 5-10 minutes chopping it up, go back out to the truck, start my run, do what I got to do. All right. So I don't want to hear all that. I'm not able to see my fleet manager. Blah blah blah. Already about complaining about where you go and what you do. Shops and maintenance. All right. When I had my old truck, 7899, aka Barry Allen the War Pig, he broke down several times. And I never had an issue getting him into the shop. Now, granted, yes, it might be a little bit backed up. Understandably so. Just because you broke down does not mean you get to hop in front of the other 5 or 10 drivers that broke down too. What makes you more special than them? Sorry for cursing, it just doesn't make any sense. What makes you more special than the other 5 or 10 drivers that broke down in front of you? If it hurts you that much, ask to use a loaner truck. That's what I did. Brady was in the shop for 2 days. He had a huge mess up with the engine. I said, hey, is there a loaner truck? He gave me a loaner truck. I took the things out I needed from Barry to hold me for 2 days, put it in the loaner truck, and I rolled all over Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin with that loaner truck. And I just did loads that didn't take me too far from the terminal in Gary. Still got about a good, 1,000 or so miles in the shop while running a loaner truck. So to sit here and say you're upset because you don't get into the shop whenever you feel like, no, that's BS. You might not get into it whenever you feel like it, but you will actually get into the shop and they will fix your truck in a timely manner. So that's that. All right. Another person, this is going to be the last thing, last 2 things. Another person commented saying he would have 1 good week and then 1 bad week. And I was like, he said, when I would come out the house, he said with a fresh 70, I'd leave the house and run 3,000 miles that first week. How are you managing your time if you're only running 3,000 miles coming out the house on a fresh 70? Even if it's just a fresh 70, no matter when it is, how are you only running 3,000 miles? That means there is some poor time management. I consistently will run 32 to 3,500 miles with a fresh 70 coming out the house. And then that next week, you play in the recap game. It is what it is. It is impossible, damn near impossible. I want to rephrase that. It is damn near impossible running recap hours, playing the recap game to hit that 32 to 3,500 miles. You can do 28 to 3,000, sometimes 27. Now, take into account things happen. Sometimes it slows you up. You might run a little bit less. But if everything is working smooth, there's no reason in the world why you can't run 2,750 to 3,000 miles on recaps. And it's going to bounce back and forth. You're going to come out the house, ridiculously high miles, and then the few weeks after that, you're going to go from medium high to high, medium high to high, medium high to high. You're going to go bounce back and forward because you're playing that recap game. You're not going to get the legit same hours that you're not going to get the legit same load you got on the way up, getting that 3,500 and working the same loads in reverse on the way back down. It's not going to happen. It is impossible. And even if you did, traffic conditions from 8 days before are not going to be the exact same as what they are 8 days from then when you're getting the next load. It's not going to happen. So it is impossible to do that. So stop complaining about that. Just shit. It is what it is. But if you're managing your time properly, you should get 1 ridiculously high week, medium high, high, medium high, high, medium high. Then you need to take a 34-hour reset because at that point, you're backing yourself into a corner. Take a 34-hour reset, fresh 70, ridiculously high, medium high, high, medium high, high. It's the way it is. I don't care what company you go to. It's what's going to happen. All right? So that whole 1 good week, 1 bad week, you just need to manage your time, especially with the numbers that person's talking about. That's some poor time management. All right? Not getting home on time. It can happen, but also at the same time, it falls back into understanding what I said before. If you have a load or something that you know is not going to take you towards the house, isn't going to give you what you need to get home on time, do not accept it. Explain why you can't accept it and go from there. Not that hard. The only times I've ever not made it home on time was like something happened with the load. And it's always the paper place out in like, Darlington, South Carolina. Always the paper place. Every time I go there, there's always an issue with the load. The trailer gets a flat tire. Airline's messed up. For whatever reason, that's just, it's luck of the draw. Somehow or another, I get that load to come home, and somehow or another, it's always fucked up. Some way, shape, or form. Something happens to where it holds me up. It's not rail's fault. It's something that's completely beyond anybody's control. Something holds me up where I'm stuck losing hours and losing time to be able to get home, and then I have to stop, wait for a 10-hour break, and just get home the next day. It is what it is. So yeah, with that being said, if you know your load's going to take you way out the way of the direction you're trying to go, then tell them I can take that load. that simple. Just say it. So yeah, he said some stuff, kind of let me see that. Then again, he also did explain that he was a rookie truck driver. That makes sense. So now he knows for the future. So he goes to another company. He might think the company's all hunky-dory, but what he's actually missing is he's taken these bad experiences, gone to a new company, applied what he's learning, and still learning. So of course you're going to seem to have a better experience when in actuality you just had an extreme learning curve and you're not making the same mistakes you made before. Because if you go, I don't care if you say you went to night transportation, you might pick up a load somewhere with a full fuel tank, and you pick up a foot load, 45,600 pounds, that thing has you 1,500 pounds, you're going to claim the company just gave you a bad load. But now, since you have experience, you're going to just say, hey, take off one of these pallets. It's going to get you down to 78,900. It's going to get you down to 78,900. There you go. But according to you, ROEHL just made you run an illegal load. What you actually did was learn from your experience, just went back and had somebody take a pallet off. Instead of saying, now, hey, I'm trying to get home on the 7th, I can't take this run on the 5th. That takes me out to Colorado and then back to Georgia and try to be home on the 7th. It's not going to happen. Before, you were saying ROEHL is the reason that you're doing it. Now you're saying common sense and experience taught you, hey, I can't do this load. So it is a learning curve. But there are some things that you should just have a little bit of common sense on. Understand, hey, just say, I'm not running this illegal load. It is what it is. And it doesn't matter what company you go to. I don't care who you drive for. You will have some bad apples that slip through the cracks. I don't care what job it is. I don't care who you drive for. I don't care what profession you're in. It is universal around the whole world. The whole world. You're going to have bad apples that slip through the cracks. And even for ROEHL. ROEHL is a great company to drive for, but you still will have bad apples that slip through the cracks and will probably give you a bad experience if you don't apply some common sense and figure some stuff out. So yeah, sorry to get all worked up and whatnot in this video. That just kind of got to me how this gentleman is probably an outstanding driver now. Love your videos. I'm happy I can help you, man. I really am. I appreciate that. If you have any comments or if you have any suggestions for a video comment, go ahead and drop it. I'm legit just sitting here not doing anything. I would go out and do a chain up video, but it's hotter than 2 rats screwing in a wool sock outside. So I'm not going to go outside and do it. Sorry guys, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not motivated enough. I'll do it maybe later. Especially since I just picked up some fresh chains, so they're going to be easy to put on. But it's too hot right now, so I'm not doing it. Sorry. But yeah, just apply a little bit of common sense. That's one big piece of advice I have to say. I applied last week to ROEHL, waiting for the. I do want to touch on this. I'm glad somebody said that. I've had a lot of people saying, hey, by backing easier or harder than you imagined before you started. I'll be doing actually flatbed has a spread axle, and it's a little bit harder to back a flatbed trailer simply because it's a spread axle. So each load will make it back a little bit differently. It'll crab walk a tad bit different. So you just gotta be you'll learn just like anything else in life. You'll figure it out and you'll make it happen. Back to the other gentleman's comment. He said he applied to ROEHL. It's something I want to touch on real quick. It's an issue I had. My recruiter was ridiculously hard to get in contact with, and recruiters' phones are ringing off the hook every single day, all day long, from the time they walk in to the time they go home. So when they say, hey, look, let's schedule a phone call for 7, make it look more realistic. Let's schedule a phone call for 9:15 a.m. You say, all right, bet. We're going to talk on the phone, complete this for 9:15, and that's the time. What's going to be happening is they're going to call you literally at 9:15 out in the morning. If you miss that phone call, you pick up your phone at like 9:20 or so, and you're just like, damn, I missed the phone call. You have to understand, now that you missed that time, that phone call, they have legit 100 other potential drivers that they have to get in contact with as well. If they go and just hop back to you, and the time slot meant for somebody else probably is not going to get the job, and it's slowing them down. So with that being said, people are saying it's discouraging and it's hard to get in contact with the recruiter. It can be very hard at times. Like I'm not going to lie. It was kind of annoying me from the get-go. I was like, daggone, like it is impossible to get in contact with my recruiter. But through perseverance and keeping up, you'll get in contact with them. Also, sometimes they might, let's say they say, all right, we're in the background check portion. This busy doing about, I was going to say that. Sometimes they might be on the background check portion. And literally, I was just about to say that. And another person actually tried to get at the company asked me, and I legit called. And what ended up happening was they were saying, we're just doing the background check portion for this gentleman. And he's been calling. We see he's been calling, but we don't have any updates at the moment. Me personally, in my head, I said, okay, if this guy has to wait a week and, he doesn't know he has to wait a week, let the person know, hey, we're doing the background check right now. It's going to take about a week to process, so you'll hear from us Friday at 12. I don't think you should just go ghost on them, because that's what happened to the guy. They just went ghost, and he was freaking the fuck out. He had no idea. He was like, nobody's contacting me. I don't know what's going on. And Anthony McDougal, it seems like it just depends on, I guess, who you get. Some of these guys act like they're so nonchalant or whatever. I feel like if you want to recruit people, you should show a little bit more enthusiasm. That's just me. Whatever. Should be alright. I feel like they show a little bit more enthusiasm when trying to recruit people. But that's just me. But so sometimes it might be a week long before they're ready to move to the next step of your application process. So sometimes I just want to say just sit tight, because in your head you might be like, well, damn, they're not getting back to me, when in reality they're saying, okay, Friday is when we find out the answer to XYZ, and then we'll give him a call on Friday and let him know what to do at the next step. I think they should let you know that. But I'm looking at going through their school. I had a previous rail driver mention to me, after 2 or 3 months or so driving, your miles start to drop. No. Everybody's experience is very different. I'll give you an example. These past 2 weeks for me have been absolute shit as far as miles. So somebody could get on here and bash it, but you have to look at the bigger picture. We just went through the pay and reimburse you on your travel there for CDL Course. I had a personal vehicle because I only live 2 hours from Conley. Let's see what happened with the other guy in the class. He was from Virginia. He stayed down there the whole time, and then when he finally got the paychecks, he had to use that money to get back home. So as far as reimburse you, I know they'll find a way for you to get there. The main problem that people seem to have is that they get there and then they realize, which seems to be a communication error, they get there and realize rail will get you there, but they're like, oh shit, how am I going to get from the hotel to the training site, back to the hotel, back to the training site? Luckily for the gentleman in my class, my brother and I had our own car. There was 4 of us. It was me, my brother, Quincy, and Kev. So Kev lived out in Conley. Not an issue for him for obvious reasons. My brother and I, we obviously rode together. We bought our own car. Quincy didn't have a car, and they got him down to there. Then they let him know after the first day when they gave him a shuttle, which honestly I think is kind of a flaw in the program, to be honest. Whatever. Hopefully somebody will figure this out. Maybe you'll come across this video, one of the higher ups. I know they watch my shit. It is what it is. Because my people mention me too often at the different terminals. So somebody's watching my shit. So maybe they'll come across this. For whatever reason, day one, they give you the shuttle to get from the hotel to the training site, back to the hotel. For the remainder of the 2 weeks and 6 days you're there, there's no shuttle. But the thing is, the shuttle picks up the experienced drivers. Why not just have the experienced drivers get there at the same time as the Get Your CDL students? That way, if the Get Your CDL student needs a ride to the hotel, not to the hotel, to the training site, they have a ride. Win-win situation. You're already paying the fuel for the shuttle to get them there, so why not? Maybe they fixed it. I don't know. It's been about a year since I went through the program, so probably they have fixed it by now. I was what was happening calmly. Didn't really make too much sense to me, but at the time I didn't really think about it, considering I had my own mode of transportation. So yeah. So yeah. Other gentleman went to Prime. Actually, almost considered. Actually, I was looking at going to Prime before I came to ROEHL. I had never even heard of ROEHL. My brother's the one that told me about it, and I ended up coming to ROEHL and I absolutely loved it. Mentioned to me that after 2 or 3 months, your solo driving, your miles start to drop. I have not experienced a drop in miles. That's just the way it is. I have not experienced a drop in my miles. Through various situations, a load gets canceled, something happens. Just as far as getting good miles each week, I get my miles. Now, sometimes things will happen. Your miles can drop depending on the situation. It is what it is. But if somebody sitting there saying, John Doe has been with us for 3 months. Let's go ahead and start fucking with them. Nobody's in the office and says that. Stuff just happens. Can't wait to do flatbed. My dream has been to move huge rod loads, and I'm gonna get there. ROEHL does do that. I actually did not know they do extremely big loads like that until like a few days ago. Actually, this week I was on my way out to Denver, Colorado, and I just happened to look over at the rest area, and it was with this huge beam that they put on bridges, and that thing was massive, and that thing had a bunch of wheels. I was like, hey, sorry about that. I'm over here. I have a raggedy ass Android. I'm actually going to upgrade to an iPhone. I'm going to upgrade to an iPhone whenever I get home, so you'll have better video quality. And ROEHL is at the top of my list of companies to apply to. Thank you for responding to my question. Of course, Mr. Edward. Of course, anytime, brother. Oh, another thing I want to talk about is pay scale. ROEHL kind of starts you low. I'm not going to lie. I start at 33 cents a mile. However, right now, I'm up at like 42, 43. So take into account that I have literally jumped up a dime within my first year being at the company. First year of trucking in general. I think there's a lag on my video. Yeah, there's a lag on it. So it's based. So they did that to offset because other companies, there's an extreme lag in this. Now I'm looking all weird on my end. Anyway, you have to understand, other companies use, a lot of companies do this. All right, once you're at this pay rate, you'll 3 cents a mile. 100,000 miles before 4 cents. To 104,000 miles for 5 cents. What ends up happening is once you get to a higher level in pay, they don't care about it. They're not trying to work hard because DG33, that's more than CR England. So it's a lot. So I guess I'll just end it and then restart another one. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end this and start another one. See that.